All right, Ian.
Yes.
It was a banner day, October 10th, 2021. It was finally revealed. The Intellivision Amico physical games. I mean physical media. No, I mean physical products were revealed on the Intellivision Amico YouTube channel. I received an email. I'm on the mailing list. There was also YouTubers talking about them with their exclusive access because they're friends with Tommy. They're talking about the exclusive Intellivision Amico physical products. Most of the feedback was a puzzling sort of look. Speaking of Kotaku, they were puzzled. Intellivision is selling NFT consoles for NFT games for a console that ain't even out yet. The same on another site I saw. So, what are these physical products? They are exactly what most people, including us, predicted them to be. What you get is a little cardboard box with the artwork that they revealed before. You get a collector coin, which people like us predicted you'd get a coin. You get a lenticular.
We predicted a trinket, and you get a code.
I predicted it. I think I predicted a coin. I think I said coin. I'm gonna take credit. Get a coin.
I don't think you did.
Okay. You get a coin. You get a lenticular card of the artwork. You remember those lenticular, baseball cards they used to have in cards where you go back and forth. And you get what everyone said was going to be an RFID card that enables you to download the game to your console to play when the console is eventually released and when the game is eventually finished.
It's a code in a box with a trinket, which is what we said it was going to be the whole time. That's really all that needs to be said. It's fucking stupid. You can argue that it's not a code in the box all you want. It's simply just a delivery method. It is an RFID chip that is holding probably a 6-digit code or an 8-digit code. When you tap it to your Amico, which, by the way, they can't show you working because they don't have a functioning fucking system or ecosystem yet. And then it downloads the game. And then, because Tommy is not one to miss out on buzzwords or hype, when we have no idea, he's still doubling down on that. This is going to somehow mint an NFT onto your system.
From a blockchain.
From a blockchain. We don't know what blockchain. We don't know how transferring of these licenses is going to occur. Because, frankly, I don't think he fucking knows. I think this is desperation setting in, and he needs to move units. And to that point, they are desperately in need of money because you cannot buy these by the piece.
First off, we were exactly right when we predicted they're going to sell these immediately. They weren't waiting for the console to come out. They need money. So they are selling them immediately.
Because people were clamoring for it. No, your 100 close friends who will tell you anything you want to hear said, Tommy, we'll give you some money in exchange for these boxes.
Yeah. So we've predicted everything. I did not predict that you could not buy these individually at $19.99.
No, I could not see that.
I thought that they'd be like, okay, buy whatever you want. You want to buy Moon Patrol and Finnegan Fox, that's fine. You want to buy Biplanes and Dyna Blaster, okay. They are forcing you to buy packs of 4 at a time for these.
Because 20 is not worth their money. They need the
80.
big bucks.
They need 80 for you. If you buy all 8, you get $10 off. You get them for $150. Oh, that's fun. They need $80 from you at least for the promise, which we'll get into. These aren't game licenses at this point. For the promise of being able to download a game in the far off future we don't know about when the game console is done. And it's cynical. It is exactly what we thought was going to happen. It's disgusting because you are, in essence, crowdfunding the company to keep continuing its life, to hopefully get to the console and to finish the game development, to play the games that you might be able to access with what you just purchased. That's what this is.
For a system that has been delayed 3 times and was supposedly on the launch pad last year, but you still can't actually see this physical game activating on a console.
And they're still trying to hire people to do work on the console to get it to fully function, and for the ecosystem and for the e-commerce and things of that nature. We talked about the job listings a few weeks ago. So we don't know if these games are finished. Like, we don't know if the games are finished.
Well, they're selling you a copy of Moon Patrol that, as we saw 2 weeks ago, still has filler text.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, it had N64 Star Fox text in the game. But you can buy the promise of playing that game at some point. Obviously, people are like, "What is this? What's going on?" And the NFT thing, some people were trying to spin it as a positive thing. The only semi-positive article about this was on Nintendo Life, saying they're admitting like, "Oh, it's strange, to sell, games to a console that's not out yet, but this NFT thing might be interesting." And I guess the theory will be you'll be able to transfer ownership. You'll be able to, like, on the blockchain, transfer the ownership digitally to someone else. I guess if you transfer the card to someone else. But, like, that brings up so many other issues. First off, to download these games, the server's got to be online. It's not physical media. You got to download the servers, right? If they're online. Then if you got to transfer ownership in the future, there's got to be, the blockchain has to be online somewhere for that to happen. We don't know what it's going to be attached to, what format. So you're creating so much more technical complications for a console that was supposed to be simple. One of the 4 buzzwords: simple, affordable. This isn't simple. This isn't like a grandma sort of thing that she has to worry about. But then you can say, well, Pat, this isn't for them. This is for the collectors that grew up with the Intellivision, a 40-year-old console. Okay, that's fine. You're not giving them physical media, though. You're giving them an RFID card that looks like the crappy old Intellivision cards that had no artwork at all, which they are mimicking here. One of the few retro consoles that had no artwork, like this, the Master System, just has, like a colored label, like a red label with like block letters on it. I understand that, but again, you are trying to keep the company alive by buying these and purchasing these.
Right.
That's what it comes down to.
You're believing another promise from a company that has lied to you multiple times. I will say about the Nintendo Life article, Thomas Whitehead, I did read the article, and I don't think the article was quite as usually fluffy as the articles from Nintendo Life are. There are some concerns about the eco impact of NFTs. But what I do think is weird is that Damian McFerrin,
the Nintendo Life editor,
is in the comments over defending this, and it's weird. It's a weird look to see. In response to something that someone said, similar to what you had said, basically, I would love for people to figure out a way to buy and sell and move rights for digital games. I think it would be a good thing to see at some point.
Sure.
But like you said, you still need that network to be up. This is not a solution to preservation, and it's not a solution to digital games. So someone said, once the servers are shut down, the physical media is useless. It's no better or more physical than a digital library with Sony, Microsoft, or Steam. Damien replies, that's certainly true of the servers, but at the moment, you can't exchange digital games on any other platform. So this approach is different, irrespective of what you think of the Amico or Tommy. And you can't do it on the Amico because it's not a fucking thing that exists yet. They're taking it as word, as gospel, that this, you have no proof that any of this is actually happening.
Jamie R says this system will probably never come out. Also, why report this on a Nintendo website? Damien McFerrin responds, we've been following this since it was first confirmed that more than one former Nintendo executive was involved with the system. Damien, you might want to do some research on that and see if that still, was actually a real thing, or they just got people in front of a camera. You might want to look into some of these details. You're the editor of Nintendo Life. Plus, this is an interesting approach that could have wider ramifications for digital purchase on other systems, including Nintendo's. I don't see Nintendo going into NFT territory anytime soon.
Well, and it could, but let's let the company that has not held up any promise yet.
Let's see them actually fulfill something.
Let's see them fulfill something.
Sure, it's just bizarre. It's just I'm not sure why he's caping for Tommy Tallarico in the Intellivision Amico so hard. And he's come after us behind the scenes, not behind the scenes, for us being critical in the past. So there's something going on here. I just don't know what it is. A personal friendship? Did he get it riding Tommy's car as well? I have no idea.
No, he said in another comment that he has not had a ride.
He has not had a ride.
He has not had a ride in the Ferrari yet.
Okay,
he has not received a shirt either.
Has not received a shirt yet. But the response overall has not been positive.
No.
John Riggs did a video about this, revealing it. He got this on 1010. He's friends with Tommy. He got early access to this. He got insider info. And the top comments are just like, many people, including television fans, have argued that it should not have been called physical media. which was done by Intellivision way back when.
Yes, and that's what I was going to say. I like John,
And Tommy.
I'm not going to really get into this any further than this, but John, it was Tommy who said this was physical media.
For years, up until the last, I think,
It was
3-4 months.
3-4 months. He
Yes.
finally got it through his head that wasn't going to fly.
You can't
and started
leave-
changing
yeah.
his definition. But John, he said physical media.
It was on the website.
Forever.
It was on the website. He came after Ian originally because remember Ian said way back, I don't think there's physical media on this? And he attacked Ian for saying that.
And there's also an interview that shows where he says previously that it's going to be SD cards or something like that. There's an interview where like he's talking about how there's an SD card slot on the back. So yes, this was supposed to be physical media at some point.
From Dracovania. So basically they're selling cardboard with the promise of games that are not even finished for a console that's indefinitely delayed. In bundles of $80 minimum, Soldier Boy will be proud. This is the only reason I'm reading this. It's not self-indulgent. It's one of the top comments. The only good thing that will come from the Amico are the Tommy voicemails in Pathy and Ace Punk's channel that come in weekly. They're all hilarious. I look forward to a new one every week. You can bring it to a friend's house, like someone else you know would actually have one. Yeah, it's not good. And then Tommy actually did say, they said, did you see the video with him and John Alvarado, the engineer? Poor John has to put up with Tommy. They think they said something like, if you worry about Amico not existing, they'll have side servers or something to keep the ecosystem alive.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not just something he pulled out of his ass.
Sure.
Side servers.
Side servers.
Sure.
It's like a side dish. Someone said, this is physical in the most shallow and empty way. How disappointing. I'd rather have cartridges in the actual style of the original games. They mentioned the cardboard is biodegradable in that video for some reason. Which is just weird. Someone said that's good because they'll probably end up in dumpsters. But it was bizarre.
I saw in a comment section somewhere someone tried to defend it by saying, "Well, it's weird to talk about how the packaging is. It's weird to talk about how the packaging is biodegradable for something that is supposed to be a collector's edition."
That is true. I mean, technically, isn't all cardboard biodegradable at some point?
It's also weird to talk about how your packaging is environmentally friendly, and then immediately jump into talking about NFTs. I mean, just fucking tone deafness.
That is true too. That is
just
true.
Absolute tone deafness.
Talk about tone deafness. Did you see what Tommy said like in the first 10 seconds of the video for his family-friendly console? He had a 7 reference. He said, oh, what's in the box? So tone deaf. I'm not going to harp on this.
I'm not. I don't harp on this. I don't really care about the family-friendly shit.
But in theory, the CEO of your family-friendly console should be making a reference to a hard R-rated movie that has to do with the decapitation of one of the main characters, spoilers, wives in the movie. Not spoiling 7, it's been out for 23 years or so. But when I heard that, I'm just like, this is why you need a PR person running this. You don't have Reggie Fils-Aimé making references to horror movies while they're presenting their kid games to you.
7's more of a crime noir.
It's hard R though. It's violent.
Oh, it is.
There's some graphic stuff.
Fucking amazing.
It's an amazing
movie,
movie, by the way.
Yeah.
One of the first, you know.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, that was a big movie in high school. You see my point, though. You need a PR person. Well, I guess this, someone named Chris said, well, I guess I'm not getting an Amico, and if I pre-ordered it, I would be dropping my pre-order. This is not physical media, not even a manual. It's 100% digital. I'm not happy. Shame on you, Intellivision. I would argue they can't do a manual if some of these games aren't probably even finished yet.
Well, that's exactly it. They can't do a manual because that's going to change. And that is...
And plus, it's more money to do them.
But manuals, I mean, I feel like that's really, when people get a physical, that's really something that they want.
That's a bonus.
That's a big thing. That goes a long way. When I talked about Evercade positively in the past, one of the things I mentioned is that the cases are hard plastic clamshells. They're like the Genesis cases.
I got one right here.
Yeah.
Look at this.
They don't fall apart. And what's inside?
A nice manual.
Full color manual.
A nice manual. 15-page manual, full color. There's some effort to write these, obviously, and to do the layout. But this is what collectors appreciate.
Forget your coin.
Forget your lenticular fucking card. How about a manual? This is what we remember from games back in the day. There was no coins in games back in the 80s and 90s. We had manuals, Tommy. But we had manuals.
That's a really good point that you made that I didn't even think about. You can't write manuals for games that aren't finished.
No. If you don't have your fucking story done for the heavy lore, the deep lore of Moon Patrol, you can't do a manual.
Or maybe it's because all the games, like the instructions, would take up 3 sentences.
But you see my point, though.
Yes. Eat fish.
If this is truly for the old school Intellivision folks, you would have a manual. Hell, maybe you'd have even the little keypad insert, something like that, just to be kitschy and cute. If you want to lean into
I
it,
was gonna say like a cling overlay or something like that.
Yes.
Like this is cool shit that would have been far more
something
interesting.
for your awful controller to put on top of it. To really, if you're going to lead into the 40-year-old market, all the people that are in their like late 40s to like late 50s by now, early 60s, that's what you would do. You got to ask me, Tommy. I'm here for free advice. You gave me your phone number. It's right here. You got your business card right next to me the last few years.
Someone said Tommy tags us in his videos.
Yes. So
Speaking of free advertising,
someone in the tags, there was a bunch of stuff, including aforementioned John Riggs. See You Podcast is used in the Intellivision YouTube tags. That's it's like a hate fuck thing going on now, I think. Like, why would you do that? Like, I guess if you search for See You Podcast, I highly doubt the Intellivision videos will come up.
sure.
I mean, the ones they want to see. Ours will come up. I don't think theirs would come up there. So here we're at. We're at now. These people, and I'm not even trying to say you're not a bad person if you want to buy these. You want a trinket, that's fine. But understand what you are buying. You are not buying, at this point, a license to download the game. You go to the e-commerce policy on Intellivision site. This is hidden. This is not like when you buy the game. You have to go down their e-commerce policy page on Intellivision.com. Scroll to the bottom. Did you read this? Did you read this shit?
You read it? Yeah, it's bad.
By purchasing any collector's boxed edition bundles, you agree to understand what you are purchasing. What you are purchasing, a collector's item as described below. They're missing a word. What you are purchasing is a collector's item described as below.
Get a copy editor.
Can you get a WordTune account, for God's sake? Get a copy editor.
For Teams.
4 or 8 game titles, depending on which you choose, in the unique collector's box edition package. By the way, these first versions, the only thing that's the difference between these 50,000 and the rest, I think it says limited on the front, and that's it. They even said that's why they're collector's edition. If they make more, it just won't say limited on the front. That's
right.
it. So each collector's box edition will have collector's packaging related to the game title. By the way, I have no problem with the art. I don't like the color scheme of that light blue with the white text on top, a little hard to read. I have no problem with the art. Eden said he liked some of the art.
I like
That's
most
fine.
of the art, yeah.
You get collector's packaging, 1 collector's edition embossed metal coin related to the game's title. There's the Intellivision Running Man and all the frames, and you get a picture of the art piece of the title. 1 collector's edition lenticular trading card related to the game title. 1 RFID digital media card to download the game license when the game becomes available on the Intellivision Amico game shop. Dates to be determined. They reiterate here, for legality's sake, a physical good and not a software license to the game title until the game becomes available to be downloaded on the Intellivision Amico game shop. So technically, what you all just ordered was not technically a game license. They make that clear here. You got a physical product that might turn into the promise of getting the digital game later.
Maybe.
So what that means is you're on the hook for this purchase. If this game never comes out, these games never come out.
Yeah, they've
you're
covered
done.
their asses. If the games don't come out, then
You bought your product.
you have no recourse.
You bought your product. If 1 or more of these don't come out, well, you got your coin, you got your card for $80. I was going to say 20, but no, you at minimum spent $80 to get 4 games. How craven is that? Just go back. Not want to go back to that. How craven you have to buy these in bundles? These games aren't connected really in any way. They're all different genres. They're all, like what?
It's like a loyalty test. How loyal are you? You loyal enough to put
How many
150
people
down on my promises?
How many people truly wanted to buy all 4 of those for each bundle? I guess the dyed in the wool people that were going to support this hardcore wanted every single one. That I did not see that coming. I did not see that level of desperate greed coming. We're going to force you to buy packs of 4.
I believe Tommy or Intellivision released some sales numbers and said that they sold like 150 of I don't know. It was in the hundreds for what they sold.
Was that on Atari Age? Where was that on?
I don't remember where I saw it. It was linked to something somewhere.
Hundreds of bundles or hundreds of orders?
It was like, I think it was like 150 something of it was like mid hundreds, I think, for all, like bundle 1, bundle 2, and all of them together.
So we'll say 500.
We'll say 500.
500 orders overall.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's about right.
That means you sold 500 Pat Math. You sold thousands of games.
Yeah.
You sold thousands of games.
Thousands of potential games.
Thousands. The promise because it's not a game license. The promise of it being converted into a game license. To download the game license when the game becomes available. Again, dates to be determined or dates to be announced. You're buying a physical good, not a software license to the game title. It says that. I mean, this is a first. That's a first for video games that maybe Danny McFarlane could hone in on. You're buying a physical good and not a software license to the game.
Right.
Until we complete the game in the future when it comes out. People were trying to say that, like, well, there were some maybe PS4 games that you could pre-order before the system came out or the controller. But that's first of all, that's Sony putting out a huge product, and they have decades of experience as a company.
Again,
yeah.
Stop doing the what if with companies like Nintendo,
Or Sony.
Microsoft, and Sony. It has nothing to do with being a fanboy. It has to do with them being companies that have been around for decades and in some cases centuries.
Billion-dollar
over
companies,
a century.
Billion-dollar companies that have shipped hardware before.
Selling games a couple weeks early with the game on the media.
Nintendo never delayed a console 3 times, and then it was desperate enough for money to sell the promise of downloads of games. Sony never, waffled on what their physical media actually was and then try to sell you the pre-order. This is not a major video game company. This is an upstart company again, when it comes down to it. It's an upstart. So I don't know. I guess they're going to make some money, even if they sold all 50,000.
I think someone did the math. If they sold everything, I think they'd make like $1 million.
That's gross, but these don't cost much to make. These cost probably $1 to make these. RFID cards cost nothing. The cardboard costs nothing.
This could not have cost much.
Let's see if I can use my calculator here.
I would imagine that a premium metal coin to order is probably about as much as a metal pin.
$1.
Yeah,
I'd say less, 50 cents. I mean, bulk. These are bulk. Yes, no, it's $1 million.
Yeah,
it's $1 million. This company needs a hell of a lot more than that to keep running. If they got $1 million, say that was their profit to them. Okay, you're running a company for another 4 to 6 months, maybe. I don't know, based upon your payroll, what you have going on. That doesn't really get you far, but this is desperation. Obviously, they do not have investors to keep this. In my opinion, they do not have investors to keep this company going or to produce this. If this is the desperate tack they're going to. I
just can't stress enough. 2 things. Cannot stress enough how much this is obviously a we need money very fast thing if you're selling it in packs.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think the NFT thing, that is the only thing that might be even remotely interesting if you're into NFTs, and I'm not, I think is just buzzwords that Tommy's throwing around and saying, figure it out later.
When you think of family and fun and friendly and safe, you think NFTs. That's what you think of, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Here it is. Here's the best comment. I butchered it from X360 Dev Nerd, and we'll end on this. The entire product is 100% biodegradable. Yeah, because they're all going to end up in the trash. That's. But maybe there'll be a collector market for it. Maybe there'll be scalpers in the future.
Oh, I'm sure there will be people. If this
it.
never comes out, there will be people in the future who want to buy these seals.
Sure, people,
because there's a collector for everything.
Sure, people try to buy the Mattel Hyperscan, and that only did about like 20,000 or so, I think, units worldwide or something like that. So like if that was a major company, so people try to buy that after the fact. People try to buy this. It's just whether or not you're going to see a console come out soon.